Welcome to Drafting Out Loud's DraftKings Market Movers. On today's episode, we take a look at the risers, where if you're not an Eagle or a QB, you're not on the list. We then look at the fallers, a list of a bunch of surprising players and only a couple that we kind of expect, maybe. And then we look at the value players, where the player we predicted would fall off the list did fall off the list. And one of the values that we've enjoyed for a while, just because it's a little fun and a little DraftKings unique, is there and maybe a little bit better value than before. Let's get into it. Okay, first off, we have our risers, and look at all the QBs and look at all the Eagles on the list. I'm going to highlight the QBs today as the thing to talk about. And the reason why I'm going to highlight the QBs is because QBs are already a little bit more expensive on DraftKings relative to underdog. So it's super surprising to see so many QBs on the list. Josh Allen's more expensive on underdog on DraftKings by a lot. Drake May is more expensive on DraftKings. Joe Burrow is extremely more expensive on DraftKings. And the only one on here that is surprisingly cheaper is Jalen Hurts. So he's cheaper on DraftKings, but he's also rising up the boards, as you can see, 2% basically for the week and for the day and for the month. So the rise has just started recently, basically. And maybe he's cheaper due to how the scoring works on DraftKings or whatever. But QBs traditionally are more expensive on DraftKings. And that rise, that was already happening, but that rise in some of these QBs is just making it happen even more. Be on the lookout. Here are our fallers, and a lot of these names kind of surprising that they're on the list. That being said, there are a couple that if we wanted to make a case for them why they're on the list, we could justify it. And so we'll go over a couple of those players right now. Number one, we have Malik Neighbors. Still haven't heard any great news about the injury. So um, maybe that's why he's falling potentially. Also, he's competing with some other players like Rashee Rice, who's also kind of falling right now, though. Chris Olave, there's some talk that the Saints might be able to draft one of the top wide receivers. Maybe there's a little bit of concern about that person eating into Chris Olave's target share. Alec Pierce just had a reported ankle surgery, so there's an unknown right there that some people might be a little concerned about. Romeo Dobbs, uh, concern about if AJ Brown goes to New England. We saw all the Philadelphia Eagles on the risers list, including AJ Brown on the risers list as well. And it makes sense that Romeo Dobbs then would be on the fallers list. 93 just feels too high in the first place. Uh, Before the fall, I've been saying it's a little too high if AJ Brown's going over there. And that's finally being reflected in these numbers moving a little bit. And then Chuba Hubbard, I think it makes sense that he's fallen a little bit just because it's been hard for him to keep that job. But it makes sense why he was where he was, just because he has kept that job in the past. So one of those picks where even 2 years ago, right, you didn't really like it, but you took him and you benefited a lot. At this price, it's the same type of thing. You didn't really like it, but maybe you'll benefit a lot. Who knows? So risk reward a little bit with that one. But some of these fallers, again, you definitely can tell why. Last but not least, we got our platform values. And Tyson, the rookie wide receiver, is off the list like we expected. He was towards the bottom 2 days ago, and now just missed the list. Terry McLaurin is now in that last spot instead. And Tyson, again, off the list because he's rising up on all platforms due to having some really good workouts. And then the players that we've just always liked to talk about here on DraftKings, just because they've always, not always, but oftentimes been on the list together, are Breece Hall and Trevion Henderson. They are both actually falling just a little bit now at 38 and 53, making them slightly easier to stack up as well. Not stack up, but pair as two running backs, essentially, a little bit later in the drafts. I kind of like that idea. No guarantees that it hits, but to me, it doesn't make sense that two pass catching running backs are going later on the PPR website. So I think it's fun to get those two players together if you can. Maybe you can pair AJ Brown with them as well, just to kind of make it all happen. Who knows? But that is the one that I wanted to highlight here. Jordan Addison, I've been drafting a lot of him as well at 96. That's a fun one. I wish I drafted him even more when he was even cheaper, but at 96, even at 83 on underdog, I like that one also. So there you go. That is our quick market movers for the day. Make sure you get those quarterbacks before they rise up too much. Make sure that you get your Jordan Addison in case he ever rises. Try to get your last of the Brees Hall, Trevion Henderson stacks before the NFL draft hits, and be mindful of a couple of the fallers. See you in the next one. Peace.